Live from WTVO 17 and your home team, Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
The Byron nuclear plant that has sat on the state line horizon for decades has an expiration date. The closure is still months away, but city leaders brace for what's to come.
That plant employs hundreds in the state line. One former employee says he thinks many will look for a way out before the last day.
One fall-time favorite's gearing up for its first day of the season, but a trip to get your favorite treats and pie supplies will look a little different this year.
Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson. One of the most recognizable structures in the state line will soon be out of commission.
The Byron nuclear plant will close in September 2021. Exelon Generation announced the closure earlier today. The company took the first steps towards closing the plant in February of last year. Exelon says Byron's plant is losing money. Declining energy prices and competition with fossil fuel plants are to blame.
Today is really a day for us to spend time with the workers. We have people going from shop to shop to let them talk, get questions, give them answers. So today we're just going to talk to our employees and give them as much information as we can.
The Byron nuclear plant has been running since 1985. The employees and tax money that comes along with the Exelon plant is the lifeblood for the city of Byron.
Nearby businesses worry what will happen when employees stop spending their hard-earned dollars at city shops. Byron's mayor talked with Dylan Saraki about the economic impact losing the plant will have on the city.
Some small businesses here in Byron are worried the plant closing could lead to the loss of regular customers.
The economic impact of the plant is really immense, and to lose it will be devastating.
Byron Mayor John Rickard was devastated when he heard about Exelon's plans to close the nuclear plant.
First reaction was shock. Second reaction was kind of really disappointed that it's come to this. Of course, there are any number of employees who work at the plant who live in and around Byron, who therefore shop here, get their gas here, go to restaurants here.
Peggy Bergmark has worked as a waitress at the Swedish Pancake House for the last 5 years. She says the restaurant was already struggling because of COVID-19, and now they're bracing for another loss.
We get a lot of people, that the retired ones and the one that originally worked out there, they come in periodically, so it's going to hurt us a lot.
Brittany Marth from Sunrise Family Restaurant tells me they can normally rely on consistent orders from plant workers.
We do orders from out there, so overtime meals, we get business from that, and that's a good chunk of our weekly, business that comes through. It's just to-go orders, but it's still something.
Another potential economic impact of the plant closure comes from tax money.
The city itself doesn't receive taxes from the plant, but the school district, the library district, the fire department district all do.
Marth has lived in Byron for the last 23 years. She's worried that potential loss of revenue could convince people to leave.
A lot of kids are here. A lot of people have moved here just for the school district because of their jobs. They know that this is a great place to be. I think that the school district is going to suffer, and people will move on and move out because they're worried about what's next.
In Byron, for your home team, I'm Dylan Saraki.
Well, no plant means no income for hundreds of people clocking in at Exelon. Many may try to leave before the Byron location closes.
Michelle Rave talked with a retired worker. Michelle, he says people may try to hang up their hats early.
A former Exelon employee tells me the closure of the Byron power plant will be devastating, not only for Byron, but the entire country. Donald Murbach has worked at the Exelon generating station in Byron for 20 years. He retired 2 years ago, but says when he heard the news, he was greatly disappointed. Murbach says he went through the same situation when the power plant he worked at in Zion shut down in 1998. He says he regularly keeps in touch with friends and he made at the plant, and says he expects many who are close to retirement will do it.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people at the plant now that are going to retire just because they're old enough and they can. And so that'll ease the burden on them. But there's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to be able to replace the money they're making at the plant.
Coming up at 6, Murbach will share more about his experience working at the plant, and we'll hear some reactions from community members as well. Mimi, Eric.
Thanks, Michelle.
President Donald Trump is set to accept his party's renomination during the 4th night of the Republican National Convention.
Tonight from the White House, he'll make the case for 4 more years of his America First doctrine. Our Washington correspondent has more on what we can expect to hear. Eyewitness News is your local election headquarters.
Tonight, celebrating America.
The grand finale of the Republican National Convention will light up the sky above the Washington Monument with fireworks. As President Trump formally accepts his party's renomination from the White House.
His policies are right for America. They're right for Arkansans.
Arkansas Attorney General Leslie Rutledge will join more than 1,000 supporters on the South Lawn to watch the president outline his vision for a second term.
Businesses need to be able to grow and flourish and not have federal overreach. We must defend our police officers, not defund our police officers. We've got to look out for American safety. All of these things Donald Trump has worked on.
Democrats say the use of the White House as a backdrop for the political convention blurs the lines between campaign activity and government business. And the size of the crowd on the South Lawn is larger than would be allowed outside the White House gates in the city of Washington, D.C. But that's not stopping Congressman Rick Allen and Senator Thom Tillis from joining their Republican colleagues in the crowd.
When he invites me to go somewhere, I never say no.
We're all excited about it.
Tillis says Democrats should take notes from the RNC.
I think Joe Biden can learn from our president and actually get out there, do it safely.
And Allen says the convention is resonating with voters.
I mean, it's just so positive, so uplifting, so American, so patriotic.
President Trump's speech officially kicks off the fall campaign season, with many on both sides gearing up for a Trump-Biden debate. In Washington, I'm Jesse Tenor.
A day after new Illinois mask requirements go into effect, COVID is showing no signs it's ready to give in. More than 1,700 new cases were confirmed in the last 24 hours. That's according to the Illinois Department of Public Health. 24 people have died. The 7-day positivity rate now sits at 4.1%. Since the start of the pandemic, nearly 3.9 million people have been tested. Rockford leads the state with the highest unemployment rate in July. Forest City tops other metropolitan areas with a 13.8% jobless rate. Chicagoland area is the second highest, trailing by a little over a percentage point. Statewide, Illinois is short almost 498,000 jobs when compared to July of 2019. The Illinois Department of Employment Security says no industries saw job gains in any of the state's metropolitan areas.
Working parents may have one less thing to worry about when school starts up again. RPS 205 is working with other agencies to give parents more options when it comes to childcare. Right now, about 7 organizations are offering a number of different programs. Some offer help during school hours with remote learning support. Others are after-school care programs. We posted a full list of all of those programs. You can find this story at the My State Line app. Back to school means fall is quickly approaching, and one autumnal favorite is set to open its doors. Tomorrow, Edwards Apple Orchard opens for the season. Due to COVID, a trip to your favorite fall time treat will look a little bit different. Edwards will be using a drive-through system only. Owners say they will adjust to let people walk around the farm and store if health officials give the green light.
At least 4 people are killed as Hurricane Laura makes landfall.
One of the deaths, a 14-year-old girl who died after a tree fell on her home. Falling trees killed 3 other people as well. A chemical plant in Westlake, Louisiana, burned through the night after the storm pushed through. Emergency personnel is trying to contain a chlorine leak at that facility. Wind gusts clocked at over 150 miles per hour, flattened structures, sending debris flying. Streets flooded and hundreds of thousands of homes lost power. Laura tied with a hurricane from over 160 years ago as the strongest storm to hit Louisiana.
Kenosha streets saw a relatively quieter night following the killing of 2 protesters Tuesday. Police released the name of the officer who shot Jacob Blake in the back. Rustin Shesky is a 7-year veteran of the Kenosha Police Department. Officers responded after a woman called 911 complaining about her boyfriend who wasn't supposed to be there. It's not clear if that person is Blake.
DCI agents, that's the Division of Criminal Investigation, recovered a knife from the driver's side floorboard of Mr. Blake's vehicle. A search of the vehicle located no additional weapons.
Kyle Rittenhouse, the 17-year-old who allegedly shot 3 protesters, killing 2, is in custody, waiting to be extradited to Kenosha County.
Now, your first warned weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
I've noticed a little bit more mugginess out there as we're starting to pull in a bit more moisture, not only from what is now Tropical Storm Laura, but also some moisture kind of pooling ahead of a cold front, which will eventually bring us some thunderstorms as we head into tomorrow afternoon. Current temperature right now at 91 degrees in Rockford. Our weather watcher Bob here in Rockford also checking in the low 90s. No rainfall today as we continue with that dry condition. 93 degrees in Janesville, 88 in Freeport, and still at 90 degrees right now in Monroe. Our heat index earlier today made it up to 100 degrees, and tomorrow is also going to be another muggy afternoon. You've noticed a few more of those cumulus clouds popping up here this afternoon. That'll be the trend as we go through the rest of this evening underneath that partly cloudy sky, and even had a couple of showers pop up and a few isolated thunderstorms here north of Rochelle, right around Hillcrest, moving through parts of DeKalb County. A few additional thunderstorms a little bit back further up to the north, but a few more thunderstorms lining up along that actual front here in Wisconsin. In fact, over the past couple of hours, you've really seen an upscale growth in a lot of that activity here late this afternoon and evening. And that is where the bulk of that is going to stay as we go through this evening. So I'm just going to keep an isolated thunderstorm chance in the forecast for this evening. Most of us are going to stay dry and just on the muggy side. Now, there is a storm complex that is expected to develop over parts of the high plains late tonight, very early tomorrow. This is just before sunrise tomorrow morning at around 6:30. This particular model keeps that complex up to the north. It's possible, but I do think we could see part of that before sunrise tomorrow morning. There's a low risk for severe weather with that, but I am going to keep an isolated shower thunderstorm in the forecast during the morning hours, and then more scattered activity as we work towards the noon hour. That front that is up to our north begins to shift southward during the late afternoon and evening, and you can see some thunderstorms lining up along that from parts of Wisconsin back into northeast Iowa. As that front continues to work southward, we should see those additional thunderstorms begin to develop. Again, Futurecast keeping the bulk of this down to the southwest. We're going to fill this in here as we get to about 6, 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. That front will then pass before midnight. Drier air comes in, and this will leave us fairly dry and comfortable as we head into the weekend. So the risk for stronger thunderstorms, there have been a couple severe thunderstorm warnings, will reside up mostly in Wisconsin. If we do see some storms late tonight, early tomorrow, there might be an occasional gusty wind, but that risk will increase tomorrow late afternoon and evening, an enhanced risk, so a 3 out of 5 on our scale for all of southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois. That risk for those storms, hail, strong damaging winds, and cannot rule out an isolated tornado, especially if we can get some individual storms to form during the afternoon, or kind of a Boeing segment or a line of thunderstorms that may develop. But that activity in the afternoon is going to depend on what exactly happens in the morning. If we don't see much activity in the morning, we've got a better chance for those storms to develop with that cold front. If we see a little bit more activity during the morning and late morning, that will gobble up a little bit more of that energy. Still rather muggy tonight, upper 80s for tomorrow afternoon. That heat index is going to be up too, so you're going to feel that mugginess more tomorrow just as that cold front comes through. 79 degrees on Saturday, 80 on Sunday, looking nice. We've got a couple chances for some showers and thunderstorms, guys, next week.
Now, the Napleton Sports Desk with Sports Director Scott Lepper.
NBA players are still upset about the recent shootings of black men by police officers, but the players have decided to return to the courts. The players held a virtual meeting this morning. They voted to resume the season. Games will start up again either tomorrow or Saturday. The 3 games that have been scheduled for today won't be played. There are reports that Michael Jordan helped convince the players to play on. Jordan is the NBA Labor Relations Committee chairman. He reportedly told the players that by playing games, they would have a more visible platform to try to bring about change. There won't be any hockey tonight. The Stanley Cup playoff games in Toronto and Edmonton have been postponed. As of now, the 2 games scheduled for tomorrow are still on. 4 Major League Baseball games scheduled for tonight have been postponed. Others are still being played. The White Sox and Cubs both had a scheduled night off tonight. And the Bears postponed their practice that was scheduled for this morning. This afternoon, the Bears released a statement from the players. It reads in part, "In the wake of what has taken place in our backyard of Kenosha over the last couple of days, We as a team have a lot on our mind today. We all agreed that talks and discussions are simply not enough anymore, and we need action. We are putting in plans to take action in our communities, and together we believe we can make a real difference. The Packers also canceled practice. Matt LaFleur says the decision was his, not the players.
And we came together as a team and talked about just, things that we could potentially do moving forward to help, make a significant change, because there are a lot of injustices out there right now, and that have I shouldn't say right now, that have been there since the inception of this country.
On a different topic, 8 Nebraska football players are suing the Big Ten Conference. They're trying to get the conference to reverse its decision to postpone the football season. The players claim that the Big Ten's decision did not follow established guidelines and it wasn't justified based on medical information. That's sports. We'll be right back.
2 rounds of thunderstorms possible, once in the morning and then again late afternoon and evening. The afternoon and evening activity depends on what we actually get during the morning. So tomorrow, a good day to stay weather aware. 79 for Saturday, 80 on Sunday. We're dry for the weekend. Got a few more showers and thunderstorms next week.
Thanks, Candace.
Stay safe.